Hello, welcome. This is Voting Smart, a very special and, as you can see, colorful edition. I feel like I should have fizzy apple juice sitting here in front of this background. This is in process of being opened in just a couple of days. This was what I would call a shard, empty lot. I mean, this was a just broken glass kind of empty lot that has been turned into a public park, in large part because of the neighborhood organizing of this gentleman, my special guest, Mr. Wright. This is Panat Zamadi, Zanaman. Zanaman.
Yes.
Zanaman.
Sabadi.
And you're from the Laotian community in New Iberia.
That's correct, and that's our customary greeting, Sabadi.
Yes, yes. Well, thank you, and I really would like to invite you to share with us some of the really wonderful positive, and I just love positive news of a real, very real, practical, concrete, making life better.
Well, we all do, don't we?
Yeah, okay.
We all love positive news.
Yeah.
At least we do, so that's why we get along so well, I think.
All right. Well, tell me a little bit about this Envision DeBerry.
Well, today, I think, with all the positive things that are happening in Iberia Parish, I like to talk about all of it, but we only have a limited time. So we'll just focus on things that have been going on through an organization called Envision DeBerry, which is a nonprofit organization, community organization that was founded by me and another co-founder, Amelia Cronin, in November 2011, and we've been making some really great positive impacts within the community with very different projects that we've been doing. And the projects, when you look at all the different things that I'm involved with, it seems like they seem very different and disparate, and like, so what's going on with this organization exactly? But they all sort of generate a large overall big picture of how New Iberia, or DeBerry, and Iberia Parish can become a more vibrant place to be, a more diverse place to be, where everyone and anybody can enjoy New Iberia and have options and be able to thrive there, being who they are. And so that's sort of our big goal, is just large community improvement, and the way that we do it is help people envision New Iberia through the various projects that we do. And we'll talk about those different projects right now. So what you see behind me right now is a mural and lighting installation done for Bunk Plaza. The city has, in my neighborhood, and if you go to the next slide, A2, you'll see that this is a neighborhood right down the street from where I live, and it's the West End community, and it's seen a sort of steady, slow decline over a number of decades since the 60s. It's predominantly African American, and I grew up in that neighborhood and always saw the potential of it. And when I moved away for some time after college, I went to UL here and studied architecture, and then I went to Columbia University in New York City and studied urban design, because I really wanted to get a sense of how I could make an impact on a much larger scale outside of the building. And I spent a few years in New York City working in a very interdisciplinary environment with artists and environmental scientists, ecologists, urban designers, architects, landscape people, and
wow, you were right in the middle of it. How wonderful!
And
yes,
had a wide variety of great experiences, and always had my mind sort of going back to New Iberia and going back home to try to implement some of the ideas that I was learning over there here in New Iberia, to try to do whatever I can to make improvements to the community. And so I moved back, and we go to A3, came up with this idea of envisioning DeBerry, and talked to people in the community to see what they wanted to have. So we had a series of roundtable discussions with various organizations, and looked at some of the things that existing neighborhood organizations were already trying to do, and wanted to help them take it a step further. There was a lot of planning and meeting involved, and they were putting their vision out there in words, and me with my background in the arts and working with artists who wanted to make the issues of our time tangible to people, and using
Yes.
the arts to make an experience for people, so people really understand and see how much better their communities can be if something happened, if the landscape was different, or there was lighting here, or if we created an event that celebrated the diversity and the culture, the local
Right.
culture of the people.
Right.
And in the next slide, A4, A5, and A6, we just, after gathering the feedback from the community, we learned that they wanted things like community gardens. So we made a pop-up installation for a period of a week and created a community garden space down Hopkins Street in the West End, and invited people to come to that space and talk about how we can work together to make these things permanent. They also wanted things like a local farmers market in the neighborhood.
Right.
Other things like an art gallery. Here
So
in this slide.
this is envisioning. This is making the stage props or whatever, so we
Yes.
can walk through it and see what it's going to
Pretty
be
much.
like.
It was,
Oh, wonderful!
yes, it was just done with simple PVC pipes and white Tyvek fabric, and just made these simple spaces. And the important part was to get the community there to inhabit
Yes,
that space,
yes.
and get them to participate in actually planning the activities within those spaces, and then
Yes.
talk about how we can all work together. So since 2011, we've been following up with various projects and engaging with the process of making these things permanent fixtures within the community, a community garden, an art gallery, a market. So, and we've been gathering a lot of support from the community, from people of all walks of life, and that's been the most exciting part about the work. I mean, there's so many exciting parts, but one of the exciting parts here is that there's so much. We've been able to gather support from such a diverse group
Right.
of people.
That looked like a parade float or something. Wow.
We
okay.
made our debut in the annual Sugarcane Festival Parade, which is when you have a float in the parade. As an organization, you've made it, and we had a great
Yes, yes.
benefactor who we didn't plan
A benefactor,
to,
okay.
and a benefactor that came was like, you guys need to be in this parade because, and it was a political season, so it was nothing but the candidates
yeah.
running with their floats, and we were the only ones that were pretty much not a political candidate float,
Right.
and so we were special. I think that last year at the Sugarcane Festival, and the people in New Iberia are really starting to warm up to Envision the Berry, and because we have a track record of having such
Right.
positive
But because
work now.
this picture, this is real. This actually exists in New Iberia on Hopkins Street. And what
That's
a
right.
change, huh?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that a little bit later, but
Oh, okay. I'm
whenever
sorry.
people see me these days, the first thing they say is like, well, you're busy. They kind of just skip saying hello and just go straight to, you're busy. It's like, well, yes, I am. And then they ask, well, what do you do? Because they see me involved in so many different things. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of things I do, but if I could sum it all in one or two words, it would be community organizing.
Right,
And I get
right.
contracted and paid by certain organizations and businesses to do community organizing. And that's a very big term, and it involves lots of things, from marketing to the organizational administrative aspects to executing a project itself. So I do it all, but it's all community organizing.
Yes. Let's keep on.
And-
We're halfway through. Let's.
Okay, wow. And so one of the big tools, one of the big projects I've been involved with, an exciting project, is the community garden. If you go to B1, you'll see a picture of one of the individual garden towers that I've been working for the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Foundation of Louisiana, or I should rather say that the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana Foundation
Yes.
has given a grant to this community to promote healthy eating and active
Right.
lifestyles, that sort of thing.
Right, so knowledge about nutrition, how to
Right.
eat, how to be healthier, wellness, that's,
Precisely. And one of the main fixtures of this grant and what we're doing with the grant is to create a community garden. And community garden
look at
has been
that.
an amazing part of bringing New Iberia together under this banner of healthy living. So people are eating produce, they're working in the garden together, people from all different backgrounds across Iberia Parish that come. And beyond the community garden, there's other aspects of it, like selling at a local market and setting up farm stands and inviting local farmers to sell.
Wow.
And also then educating people about the benefits of buying locally produced food and
Right, right.
how it could impact socially and economically and food and
Look at
culturally.
all that, and
their
this is
community.
happening, and then you have a real greenhouse in operation, right?
That's right. That's right. And yes, and this is a huge effort, of course, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of partners involved in this, and the primary lead on this is the Iberia Industrial Development Foundation and their Best Life Iberia program. So, thanks to them for pulling together a great team.
And say that name again?
The Iberia Industrial Development
Okay.
Foundation.
If you
And-
don't mind my saying this, as I recall, you have the vertical pots, and they use the least possible water, and it is a
Yeah.
greenhouse with constant temperature, humidity, the whole thing.
It's a vertical hydroponic system.
Vertical
And,
hydroponic.
Yeah, and we don't use any chemical pesticides in it, and we have to battle the bugs by hand. But
Oh, and ladybugs.
yeah, we do release ladybugs because they help with the pests that harm our plant and put holes in our plants. But this has been a great. Looking at as a community organizer and using a community garden as an organizing tool has been incredible, because it just brings so many people, and it organizes things from creating a little economy. It organizes social events and that sort of thing, and you have a way to engage with the community that's very positive. So just wanted to talk a little bit about that project and give it some love on the air. And
Yes,
it's received some really great attention, not only locally but also on a national level as well. We had Dylan Radigan in Picture B11. Best New York Times best-selling author visiting New Iberia to specifically to visit the community garden and what was
Wow.
happening, and how we're just regular folks in the community, or thinking of new innovative ways and systems to make positive impacts within their communities. I mean, this can be a really great model for how other communities that are in similar situations, like the Western New Iberia, to reinvent themselves and to survive and adapt to the 21st century.
Wow.
On to the next project we have, which is related to the splashy, colorful picture that was behind us, is the Bunk Plaza project. And this project, really, I wanted to bring up this project to talk about the role of arts in a
Yes.
community. And the West End, back in its heyday in the 50s and the 60s, was really a place where sort of a rural stop for a lot of performing musicians and acts that were going between New Orleans and Houston. And people I talked to of an older generation would always refer back to those days and how amazing it was. But I grew up in New Iberia in the 80s, and that was right after things had been on the downswing for some time. So we never really got to experience that. So in a way, using this artwork, this colorful artwork with lights and landscaping, and going to a park like the Bunk Johnson Park, which is a park right now, but has not been well maintained. Well, it's not seen in a positive light. I guess that's fair to say.
Okay. I see. Here you are drumming up interest.
Not to cast any aspersions on the
I
administration,
understand.
because of course they different organizations and administration have been putting efforts and tax dollars
Okay,
into trying to revive
okay.
it. But perhaps the community wasn't ready to receive to take those and move it to the next step. So we're trying to really take the glass shard park and reinvent it and create a process working with other partners within the community, other neighborhood organizations, to build a coalition to really seriously address how this park can be a catalyst for overall neighborhood change, because it's in the middle of the cultural heart of the neighborhood, and it's seen by so many people. And when people pass by, it's a very high traffic road. People pass by and they see broken glass shards and unseemly character. It just gives off a really slanted perception.
You've got a gathering place, and
And we're trying to. The park is actually privately owned, and it's been leased to the city since the mid '90s, and so that's where I find my work as a sort of as an artist working in the public realm, coming into conflicts or into interfacing with other interests. So it's a matter of, as a community activist or organizer, you have to really be conscious of navigating these things and dealing with the public process, because everyone has a voice. And and they're
some are more agreeable than others.
Right.
Yes. I'm going to throw in the historical perspective, want it or not. Places such as Florence or Athens, at the time of their flowering, developed out of a plaza. And that people came there to talk, to share ideas. It was a crossroads, and it's that idea of people in public where they are, safe to talk about what's happening in their lives. It is a time for flowering and rebirth or renaissance, and I think you've really created or helped to create a very real place where that can happen. I'm really excited.
And
I want to warn you, we only have about 8 minutes left.
And our primary aim is to really create this renaissance, because the Western community had for a long time defined itself through the arts and music and that sort of lively culture. And through this artwork, we're trying to give them an opportunity to re-envision themselves in that light again, where they can pass down the street and see this beautiful, colorful mural and lighting installation and have this positive thing associated with their community once again that is iconic and vibrant. So let's move on to the next topic, D1 and incubating creativity. One of the projects that Envision the Berry is involved with is to actually help keep an art gallery open.
Yes.
And art galleries are usually very quiet, contemplative spaces, and it's really great for me to have that space and just sort of escape the world for a while. So we sit at the gallery sit for a couple hours. For a few days of the week, and to keep that space open so that the community is allowed to interface, have another space to interface with art, and we don't make judgments on art. It could be a Raji, it could be a piece of local folk art or crafts or anything, but it's important for a community like New Iberia to just talk about art. So, and we have that space.
So this is an indoor space where we can gather and we can talk about the
Nyla
art.
Gallery, and we really see it as an incubator for creative people too. And we have events of different sorts, Tarts and Arts, where we. This is one of those events where we, have people in the community gather and talk about art and schmooze and all that lively stuff.
And this is real, and it's just the past couple of years that this has happened. Oh, wonderful.
And if you remember those first slides that we showed, like A4, A5, A6, these ideas were just PVC pipes and fabric. Yes. And now, 3-4 years, almost 4 years later, they're actual thing, like physical spaces that are permanent, legit things in our community. So it's really exciting to have been part of this process of making all that happen. E1 I want to talk a little bit about the Show Tune Sing-Along event that we have. We have a monthly Show Tune Sing-Along event, which is just fun. And it's important for a community to celebrate its creativity and celebrate its local talent. You guys have great places like that here in Lafayette, and we like to do the same, like Artmosphere, for instance. So we like to do those similar things here in New Iberia.
And so everybody gathers.
People gather,
and
it's a live piano, and we project lyrics on the wall,
Oh.
and we just belt out big Broadway musicals in a group setting together, and we accept tips that go towards the organization. And it's a great way to bring people from all walks of life that share a love of musical theater and just singing in a room together to come. And it's a very communal activity when you sing. And I read an article recently that group singing, music can actually lower your risks or offset the effects of Alzheimer's. As well.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes.
So the positive benefits, but this is a great way to sort of just celebrate our local talent. And then another topic to F1 is the Window Wonderland. It's just sort of our holiday time project where, Main Street, New Iberia, historic Main Street, New Iberia, with all this great Art Deco architecture and all its old storefronts. This architecture with all its big windows was really made to hold these fabulous commercial displays, to really support the business of that time. So, but when I moved back, I wasn't seeing people really utilizing it to its full extent. So we created this project to try to celebrate that architecture and fill these empty windows with wonderful holiday displays, and it's become a very popular project. And so we gather artists, and this is artists from San Francisco actually, who came and made this installation inside this window. Based off the Gift of the Magi here is off of a wonderful Flemish painting, and these installations inside these windows are gorgeous, first of all, but they create an experience and uplift the community in ways, and it's very important for a community to have those kinds of projects that do that really bring people together and just give very intimate experiences for people just walking down the street.
So it's really a team, and then you have a physical product, and it's exciting, and so many things. That's what I'm taken with, is that you're doing so many things, from art to food to Winter Wonderland. I mean, wow.
And I'm involved with many of them, but it is a team of people that a small team, but it's a very dedicated, positive and creative team that I work with at Envision the Berry. So I'm very grateful for that. One of the last things that I'll talk about, since we have 3 minutes left here, is another project that I'm involved with is G1 and Tesh Ridge, which is a new traditional neighborhood development currently underway in New Iberia, or right outside of New Iberia city limits. But similar to River Ranch here in Lafayette, it's a traditional neighborhood development that's bringing in infrastructure and housing that offers a very diverse way, more diverse options in New Iberia, which we really need to be competitive in today's market.
It's probably a little bit wider cost range than is River Ranch, I'm guessing. Home prices, but anyway, I'm just guessing on that.
Well, you can contact Van Eaton and Romero, the realtors, and they can ask about all the pricing on that. But I'm involved in sort of the organizing aspects of it, and talking up. And right now, it's there's all these amenities and parks and public spaces that are involved in communities like this. And we had a conversation. We just talked about how the importance of these public spaces are within a community.
Right.
So this is a community plan with these public parks and spaces within them, as an idea to sort of revive this idea of the commons. In our civic mentality, that there's these shared common spaces that we are there for everyone to enjoy and use in a positive way to better their community. And right now, this is the actual picture of it, and they're just getting rolling with putting down infrastructure, sidewalks. This is how the park looks right now, but eventually I hope it will something similar
Wow.
to this, where there's fountains and children and activities like park activities like outdoor yoga and public art and people lounging about and enjoying their community together. So I'll end that there with 1 minute left. So.
Well, this is so exciting. So in the space of whatever 4 years, you have started with a community, an area that I think you said was on the slide, and given a vision through kind of what I would call building a stage set, and
Well, the community had their vision. It was.
oh, I'm sorry, that's right. Excuse me.
My role has been sort of making that vision very tangible, immediately tangible.
Right. I'm using kind of a you as all of you, and then you as an individual. I hear what you're saying, that it has been a group effort and that you have gotten input and activity from the area.
That's right.
And then, so what I'm thinking is starting from a few blocks in New Iberia, this is now spreading to the plaza and the amazing, how much did that greenhouse cost?
You could get by with the system and the greenhouse about 10,000
Okay.
parts and labor.
Yeah, okay, I was just wondering, that is a nice project. And then the fun stuff, the art and so forth. So. Well, thank you very much, Panada
Thank
and
you,
Vision
Barbara.
New Iberia. And please join us again on Voting Smart. This is Barbara Connor saying thank you.